Hey, welcome back to Nosedive. This is Mara and Renee. Happy to be here as usual. Hi, Nay. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Doing good.
Sweet. Happy Friday. Today's a Friday when we're recording this, so that's exciting, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Um, and today we just wanted to we were inspired by the full moon. That was the how our topic came up. Full moons, there's just something about it. Like you just look in the sky and you're like, holy cow. Like it is just
Yeah.
illuminating. It's really to ignore something that magnificent. And it's pretty cool. Happens every month. I am not at all an astrologer by any means, but I know that uh, full moons, if you're into just having, certain rituals of letting shit go that just doesn't serve you anymore, typically that's what full moons are used for. And um, this full moon happens to be a Capricorn full moon. And if that means anything to you, that's amazing. You should probably let me know more. But what I do know about that is that it's about taking aligned action. And so today we were like, yeah, we should talk about like some things that maybe we have been kind of collecting inspiration for a while. And it's like, you know what? You just got to do the damn thing now. You just got to do it. Just go. Taking that actual aligned action. So, um, yeah, we're excited to talk about how being in this sober curious space and having a little bit more clarity allows you to think, kind of be in your head about all the things, things come clear, of kind of what you want to do and where you want to go and how you want to do them. But there is then that next step of actually doing it. And that can be really hard. We've talked about this. We're super real with you all. Like, just because you decide to go alcohol free or, sober ish for a while doesn't mean that just like your whole life becomes rainbows and butterflies. Like, that's not what this is about. It's about being human and actually feeling all the things that human experience can bring to you and how you can keep learning from it and growing from it and being curious about this wild ride of life. So, Nay, do you want to share kind of what's been in your realm and on this
Yeah.
topic of aligned action?
Yeah, for sure. And I think something else too that I just learned recently from Dr. Tara Swart, shout out. She's like one of my idols. So if this ever gets to her at some point, oh my God, it's so enthralled. Anyways, she was talking about how um full moons and how obviously like the tides go with the full moons, but also there is this energetic shift that happens with us as humans because we are made up of water. So, like the percentage that our bodies are made up of water, that's why there's such this like pull and this energetic feeling when it comes to full moons and like the phases of the moon. So, that's something that I just learned recently that I was like, holy shit, no wonder that makes sense
Yeah.
why we feel a certain way when full moons kind of come around and that energetic shift that we feel in our body. So
So
that's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Something that happens that's completely outside of our control, and yet we all feel it together
Hmm.
in certain ways. It's just sort of mind blowing. But to go back to the topic of what we're talking about here. So, yeah, recently for me, something that I have been toying with for quite some time is starting a Substack. And
Mm.
for those of you who don't know, I guess what Substack is, I don't even know how to describe it. I guess it's for like creators, writers to have, it's like a blog essentially, which I feel like is a throwback to early 2000s. And since I was probably, I don't know, maybe in middle school, my grandmother is actually the one who instilled in me to start journaling and start writing. I always wanted to be a journalist when I
Mm.
was growing up. And it's funny, in my first Substack, I even talk about, or in the About Me section, I talk about how, like, think Rory Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls, like, that was my sort of trajectory in life that I wanted to emulate. I wanted to be a journalist, a writer, like writing for a magazine or write a book or whatever kind of unfolded for me. And so, yeah, my grandma instilled this in me. So I've been writing since middle school, essentially, up all the way until my adult life. And I think that's how I've journaled and how I've written, obviously, has changed a lot since I was 12 to now I'm, in my 30s. So, but yeah, this has
You
just been
are?
something. Yes, I know. Can you believe it? Oh God, what the fuck?
It's
Um,
awesome.
I know. But yeah, it's something that I just has kind of been in the back of my mind. I have been a little scared, honestly, to start something else on top of just everything else that I'm doing, adding on to the list of responsibilities that I have. But I think what's different here in taking this action is taking that step for something that I wanted for myself, for me. Like,
Mhm.
yes, the whole intent behind starting this Substack, it's called This Might Help,
Mm.
is to help other people, but it's mainly about topics and things that I like and that I've taken and tips that I've gotten along the way just in my life and things that I think might help other people. But ultimately, what it comes down to is this is something that I have wanted to do for myself, is this forum of being vulnerable on writing about topics and in the tone and in the way that I want.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think it's feels a little cringe, like coming out like this is I'm giving myself permission to do this thing for myself, for me, and
Mm.
only for me, really. I really hope that it does help other people, and of course, I want people to read and like and all that stuff, like all of the, I guess, kind of ego parts of those things, but taking that next step to really make that happen. And it's so funny. My first actual like piece that I wrote, I was writing it and my husband comes in the room and was like, "Oh my God, you've written that much stuff already?" And it had only been like, I don't know, like 30 minutes. I'm like, yeah. So I think that there's like that piece to it too, especially I guess tying it back into sort of this sober curiosity and kind of removing elements that dull those
Mm.
senses. Like, I don't know. No, I do know. If I was drinking like how I was, I wouldn't have taken the step to
Mhm.
do this for myself. And it's a really great feeling to be in that flow state. I get and I understand now what that flow state means. When people
Mm.
talk about, oh, being in kind of your zone of genius or being in that flow state, or you look up and it's like hours later. I didn't really understand that when people talked about that. I understood the concept of it, but that had never really happened organically for me. I don't have an issue with focusing. I don't have an issue with being
What's
productive.
that like?
Was or at least I don't, it's probably, I think I just heard the other day that Mel Robbins was just diagnosed with ADHD at this stage in her life. And she's like
Mm.
naming off all of these things. I'm like, oh shit, maybe maybe I have too. But anyways, like being in that flow state, it was just I get that on a different level now, and I think it's such a beautiful thing, because if I
Mm.
hadn't taken that step, if I hadn't kind of gone out of that comfort zone of wanting to do something for myself, because solely and 100% something that I wanted to do for me, I don't know if I would have known what a flow state really means. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's amazing. There's some reason, like, I wrote down and I, like, circled a lot the word dull because
mm,
I feel like that word itself is just it's such a good word to describe. Like, if you are in a space that's kind of like the in between, like the sober, like if you're a gray area drinker, you drink sometimes, like, there's just kind of like this layer of like dullness that becomes so normal, and it's not until like you have given yourself space that you actually can see the difference. And it's so tricky, because and I feel like that's been kind of a challenge on this journey for me in connecting with other people and guiding people through a sober curious journey or whatever. um is like this trying to like not convince someone, but essentially like, if you're not like facing all these consequences in your life, say for example, someone who isn't gaining a bunch of weight, to be like, hey, maybe you should also just try to like eat more vegetables and fruits and stuff in your
Yeah.
diet. You know what I mean? Like it's and someone would be like, well, why do I got to do that? I'm fine the way I am now. Like it's just hard to really help people see and know that there will be benefits in making a change. Um, but for some reason that word dull just like really brought that up for me. I'm like, you know?
Yeah, it's like this, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something to relate it to that's like I'm thinking of like a film. It's almost like
Mhm,
this like foggy sort of film, this layer on top of, like you said, this layer on top of like the good parts that just
mhm.
sort of like sits there and waiting until you kind of
Yeah,
scrub it clean, you know what I mean? Like, get that film off and sort of
yeah.
take the veil off and see that part.
Like when you get a new phone and you know how there's that like clear or like a
Yes,
TV or something and
and you
it's like,
peel
"Oh,
that
it's
layer off.
fine." Yeah, and then I'm like, "No." Like my mom, it's been there for years. I'm like, "Peel it off." And
Peel
then
the
she's like,
layer off.
"Oh my gosh." It's like this same like satisfaction. Because like you said, you've had this opportunity to like meet yourself in a new place, like, because you have the clarity of like, I want to do this. I'm scared to do this thing. Like, but I want to do it and I want to do it and I want to do it. And then you took action. Because again, it really comes down to like we can really stay in that circular momentum thought process, like, oh, I want to do this, and this is how I could do it, and this is what I would do if I did this. But I'm just like at a point in my life right now where I'm like, I'm so annoyed of hearing myself saying I'm gonna do something,
Mm,
or, I'm like, I just need to do it.
yeah.
So, and that, I mean, that's the $1,000,000 freaking slogan right there. Just do it.
Yeah. Well, do you feel like, so in relation to sort of this like stripping and the buck moon and the new moon of like growing the new antlers or whatever and like shedding the old ones, do you feel
That
like
kind of grosses
you,
me out.
does it? Like
Oh,
shedding?
like shedding and then like antlers growing in, like
Growing back out.
that really gives me the
Maybe I
heebie
shouldn't have
jeebies.
used that. Maybe I shouldn't use that one. But, just like shedding that the layer that we're talking about, do you feel like you have to in some sense shed some of that in order to be able to take that action? Like before even getting to that step, or do you feel like it's like simultaneous, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me personally,
Yeah.
um, because I think it's different, everyone's process is different.
Mm.
But I definitely think I have found over the past, I don't know, 2 something years, um, that slowing down is good, and I think, making, like, smart decisions is also nice, but, you know, I just really feel like if I know something in my gut, like, do it, go. Like, I don't need to fucking wait and keep
Think about
thinking and
it forever.
thinking.
Yeah.
Right, if I can feel it, for me, that means I know it, then I go. But I have spent so much time going inward, which I think has been really nice and very good. Um, but with that has come almost like doubting, like mistrusting myself or something, or like doubting, like,
Mm.
oh, should I do that, or am I like,
Overthinking.
yeah, or am I just trying to escape because of a da 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 da, and I'm like,
Dude, it's like when I came to visit and we were in the grocery store and I was buying that because I forgot like my face wash or whatever. And I
yeah,
was between two of them. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking I want this, but I'm reading the ingredients in this. And then you held them both up. You're like, which one do you want? And I was like, that one. You're like, okay.
Like, get that one.
It's kind of, yeah, yeah. It's kind of like the same principle. You have to kind of like pull the trigger at some point. You have to fucking do the thing. Like, do the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And again, like, I do think people operate differently, but I know for me, if I'm not, I'm very experimental, and I feel like I learn through doing and through experimenting. I can't go forward if I don't do those things. Like, I
Mm.
just keep looping in my head. But for some people, it's not like that,
Yeah.
and I think it's important to figure out, well, kinda what works for you, and then also to be open to trying new things.
Yeah.
So something that I've really been wanting to do is to take, another trip to Hawaii. And one of my mom's best friend, she's Hawaiian, and she lives out there, and she was like, "You can come stay with me." And I was like, "I would love to just, like, go back, cuz the last times I've been, I didn't really surf that much, and I'm like, I just want to surf like a good wave."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a
Right.
fun, small, rolly wave. Um, I would love to volunteer on a farm.
Yeah.
Just have some space from, like, my everyday to day life. Um, I f- I feel like being in that environment is very, what's it called, like, inspiring for me. And I don't know. I don't think, like, one, I've never traveled alone. Obviously I know, like, I do know a couple people out there, so that's nice. Like, I have a landing place.
Yeah.
Um um and I can obviously, English is language. Like, so there aren't like
Yeah. Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
barriers or anything, but it is far for me,
It's
and
different though, dude. Traveling
it's
by yourself is
different.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just feel like it's something that I have really been wanting to do for myself, like you said. Um, and yeah, I'm like, okay, I started today, like, the process of, I'm like, okay, first things first, I need to find someone, you know, dog care. Like,
Yeah.
so that's been interesting. First step.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
But
that's the thing though, like you have to there's there's different stages of taking the action. Like of course it's not just like for some things, like for me, like yeah, just getting on there and creating the page. Like you hone in on it, you do other things as you continue. But they're like and for you it's maybe a longer process, but you are with that intention taking that first step in order to start that domino effect to be able to get yourself there, like
mhm.
to make it happen. And another example is like when my husband and I want to travel somewhere because we do this all the time too. We're like, oh, we would love to go to such and such. We would love to go on
Mhm.
whatever. So what we try to do is try to do is buy the ticket to where we're going to and then like figure out all the other stuff
Mhm.
later. So like while that's a little different in terms of like the steps, quote
Yeah.
unquote, we buy the ticket so that we're like, okay, well, we're
Right.
going. Like
Now
we
you
buy the
gotta figure it
ticket.
out.
Now we gotta go and now we gotta figure out everything else. So like
Right.
whatever that thing is for you, figure out like what that first step is. Like if it's starting a business, it's finding the name. Okay, cool. If it is starting a website, getting on fucking Squarespace and just making the thing. Nobody, this is like a hard truth for me. Nobody's searching for your shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So like nobody at first. So just get it out there. Get it
Yeah.
out there, do the thing, buy the ticket, like more and more as I hear the wisdom from different generations that are older than us or even like shit, even younger than us. I feel like they've got it kind of down pat too, where it's like, I'm gonna follow my align,
Right.
um, is
They
to
know the
do the
lingo.
thing. They know the lingo. It's like do the thing. And it, it's like this and maybe you have like some insights on this. It's like, why do we feel like a rock sometimes? Just kind of like
Mhm.
not even stuck, but just like compact in this little thing. And like, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And I I think there's something about that feeling is linked to this false sense of control, of the
Mm,
known, of what to do, It's like concrete, I know this, and it just can it's so simple, but it also is so challenging to be, like, open and easeful. Um, and I'm just, like, constantly trying to remind myself or counteract my thoughts, like, when I start to spiral or I start to fixate on something or someone else and what they're doing that has nothing to do with me, I'm like, bring it back, like, to me. "Okay, Mara, we're gonna acknowledge that person, they're doing what they wanna do, da, da, da. Okay, so what about you? What do you
yeah.
wanna do?" How do you want to feel right now? Want to feel easeful? Okay, I want to feel easeful in this moment. Calm, soft, easeful. Like I'm literally constantly talking to myself and trying to like calibrate
Yeah.
and um kind of like what's it called? Nurture myself
Yeah.
in a way to
Totally.
soften that hard, like, concrete rock feeling, because I definitely can feel that a lot. Um, this is, like, so silly, and if you're listening, I hope this kinda makes you laugh, but, like, sometimes I'll be laying in bed and I'm like, "Okay." Like, just hugging myself. I'm like, "Okay, Mara,
Yeah.
like, I love you. You're safe. You're safe." And like I don't know why this is so weird, but the other day I just kept saying my name over and over out loud. I was like, Mara, Mara, Mara. And I'm like, this is so weird. But the next day, my mom sends me a picture of this TV show that she's watching, and her name is Mary. And in the TV show, the captions, it said Mary Mara. And, like, I was just like,
What?
"That's so weird," like, so these, like, synchronicities that happen for us or, we're kinda talking about intuition, to listen to what it is that we really want to do and then to take aligned action, and just finding that one little step, and then start to tune in and pay attention to, like, the things that happen around that just are fun,
Yeah.
Maybe you see something that's like I love, like, little signy signs. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, cool." Like, it doesn't have to have this crazy huge meaning for you if that's not your thing, but if it brings a smile and it helps elevate how you feel, then who the heck cares? Like, have fun with it. I don't know.
Yeah. I can't believe that again, the synchronicities. It's just crazy because you were saying how recently you're just kind of s- not self-soothing, but self-nurturing. And
Mhm.
that's something that I've been doing recently is in these scenarios where I feel out of control or I feel that sort of wave of overwhelm or overthinking or thinking of all the things that I want to do or have to do,
Yeah.
get to do. Um, I say to myself, like, you are safe. You are
Mhm.
safe. You are in this space. Like, nothing is going to happen. This is
Mhm.
all you're doing. And
Mhm.
you also have the power to take that back and make yourself at ease. So it's so funny that you say that because recently that is something that I have been actively and intentionally been telling myself that like this is your safe space or even like I've been using a lot of like manifestation sort of visualization meditation type of things lately and
Mhm.
going to a safe space like not only
Mhm.
just telling myself like okay you're fine. You know, you're in a safe space, but also kind of like venturing to my happy place, like Happy Gilmore. You know what I'm saying? Like when
Mhm.
he's like, go to your happy place when you putt, like, and it's like this even like angelic scene or whatever. And it's like, so I've kind of built that for myself in my head of what is that one kind of
Mhm.
place for you? Like, is it in nature, even though you can't go outside right now? Is it
Right.
like by a cozy fire reading a book in some cabin and wherever?
Mhm.
So
What
just
does your cozy space look like?
mine is in a sort of like loggish cabin in the mountains with like a huge window that looks out to the mountains, and it's in the fall so I can see all
Mhm.
the like fall foliage with a this is like super specific. So anyways, in front of a stone like brick whatever
Mhm.
fireplace with a
Mhm.
fire going and a comfy little seat with a best book and tea. And that
Mm.
is my happy place that I go to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah. That sounds so cozy.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
gosh. Get me a comfy couch and I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm. It's funny how you said your grandma introduced you to journaling, and that was a synchronicity. I wrote that down as well because my I used to spend the summers with my grandma, and she would buy me a journal every
Yeah.
summer, and at nighttime I would she would say like write down what you did every day. Oh my gosh, she gave me my journals probably like a year ago or something. Oh my god. They're so bad. Like
Yeah.
I'm like today I woke up and I went to the pool. Then I took a shower, then my cousins came over and I ate dinner the next day. Today I woke up and went to the pool. I'm like that's like it's just it's so funny. It's really sweet. But um I have noticed because you're talking about flow state
Yeah.
that the times where I have truly lost track of time is when I'm writing too. And
Mm.
it happens like it's something like I can't just turn it on. Um, it happened randomly, and I'll be up all night like writing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I love when it happens because it's such a cool feeling because you feel like you can just like it's just happening naturally and you're just going and you're not trying, you're not forcing. But I'm like, damn, like there's so many things that I wish I could just like take this moment. Like, how come I can't just do that with other things?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's too like just how our everyday life is structured by the means of society and time and a clock and the things
Mhm.
that we kind of have to do to survive doesn't really allow for that space to happen as naturally as we would like. So like it comes up in sort of random times where you have that quiet space where it kind of just like comes on its own. And
Right.
maybe that's another thing that like is a part of the intuition and following those things that those aligned actions that you feel so called to do. Maybe that's a piece of it to get more to that flow state, because I do have a sense of that in working out too. Like when I exercise and stuff,
Mhm.
it's like one of the only times that I that my mind is fully at ease because I'm
Mhm.
not thinking about anything else. I am like expressing this thing that gives me so much joy that like I could spend so much time doing and not even know how long it's been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. And I think like having conversations with like clients or even friends, kind of having, just compassion for yourself as you try to find and figure out what kind of gets you into that space and to be kind of
Yeah.
playful and experimental because yeah, it's kind of frustrating when you're like, I don't have any hobbies or I don't know or it's like I'm always thinking there's not a time where I'm super super present and like
Yeah.
being like that's okay. If you enjoy that moment and do your best to like be mindful and be present and set yourself up for success, if it's like doing all the little things you need to do like putting your phone aside or putting it on silent mode and maybe if it's something you're not going to want to do when the time comes, but it's something that you really want to do, like pick out the outfit you're going to wear to do it in before and set it up the day before. Like have parameters set in place to kind of help guide you to do the thing. Um, and then allow yourself to do it and see, what the takeaway is afterwards. So
Right.
it's not always easy.
No, and that's something that especially when I was drinking more heavily is I felt that exact same way. Like I felt like I didn't have anything like that. I didn't understand what it meant to have something that you're passionate about. And I felt very lost in that feeling. So if you are feeling like that, like that's okay. You're definitely not the only one. And to give yourself the time and space to try and get as clear as you can. Because when you get into that state and when you can exercise that muscle to where you can even hear your own thoughts about what you even want. And I think it comes back to my piece of advice too, and going through all of this is really honing in on your why. Like, why are you doing the things that you do? Why are you wanting to kind of make more space for XYZ? Why are you wanting to take that aligned action for that one thing or going to Hawaii or doing the Substack or whatever it is?
Mhm.
Because whenever you can sit down and really answer that question, it gives you more of a perspective on that voice, on that
Mhm.
intuition, on your intention.
Yeah, beautifully
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, this it's such an interesting topic, like, I'm just kind of thinking about everything we've talked about today because, we started with, like, full moon stuff and then, like, intuition stuff and then taking aligned action and signy signs and, your whys, and it's kind of cool because when you zoom out, you can see how collectively it comes together and it's all
Yeah.
connected, and it does make sense, but it doesn't always feel like it makes sense when you're in the
In it.
process of trying to figure it out. And like even eh, now, I'm like,
Yeah.
what is life? Like what am I
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
How, kind of, yeah, what, this is one huge massive experiment. It kind of
Yeah.
like is really trippy to think about.
It is.
And something again, like I can kind of go in a circular thoughts about it. And I think that can be fun and cool. And then sometimes I'm like, all right, let me get in my body and let me just like participate in the doing and the being rather than in the thinking because
Yes.
it can go on forever.
Oof. Oof. Yeah. It's like infinity up there.
Yeah, infinity
Shit.
and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah,
Well,
cool.
yeah. I think that's all I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Nay, where can people find ya?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at coach_Radams and of course nosedive at nosedive co. What about you?
Cool. At Mara DiMaro on the Gram. And yeah, we're excited to be here and
Yeah.
hope this is, supportive in some capacity. We would absolutely love to hear from you if there are any topics. Ooh, that just reminded me. Someone did suggest a topic.
Ooh.
I forgot to tell
Ooh.
you. So the
Oh my
topic,
gosh.
so keep your eyes and ears peeled, folks. Um, the topic of, gosh, I can't believe I forgot this. Uh, like, uh, what is sober? Kind of like
Mm.
to different people, and Cali sober versus like psychedelics or alcohol, all the different substances and topics. Because
Okay, cool.
she herself is alcohol free. I think she is totally sober from all the substances. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But uh she was like, I thought, back in my day, I thought like if you said sober, it meant from everything. And then she's like,
Yeah,
then I found
same.
out this person, um, smokes weed, which is fine, but I didn't know. It's just
Yeah.
an interesting conversation. So we can definitely note that and dive into that topic for sure.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'd love to. Can't wait to. And also,
Yeah.
just a reminder, we have our Sip Happens workshop that's coming up on the 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern. The link to sign up for that is going to be in our show notes. And it's going to be really fun. It's just going to be a time where you have our undivided attention, where Mara and I really just talk about things like that, like what sober is and what sober curious is, and just different tools and things that we picked up along the way that you can start implementing or just start kind of mulling over and see how that plays into your life. And just a chance for you to ask us any questions sort of one-on-one. So I'm really excited for that. That's next week. So, or no,
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now. So
Yeah.
yeah, really stoked for that.
Woo. All right, let's get it, y'all.
Cool, dude. Well, until next time.
All right. Cheers. Toodles.
Bye.